Good morning, KG6TGR. I've been working on this national for a few years now, and because of that I've decided to go ahead and give it the old college try and get it done. So failure is not an option. I picked this up at an auction for $10 and I brought it home, I plugged it in. It actually worked very weakly, and I thought, you know what, this will be the radio that I really give a lot of attention to. So this initial video is documenting where I'm at now. Okay, I keep the National on this rolly cart here, and I'm going to go ahead and lift this off and show you where we're at. First off, the cabinet, I thought it would be neat to have white on the inside, and I'm not sure if I'm going to keep that. The white's been interesting, it reflects the light. Also, I thought it'd be neat to polish up the chassis, which I did. Pretty fair, not too bad. And I've always wanted a radio that I could look into and it would shine. Somebody posted a video of a National NC-100 that they already restored, and they used black paint on the inside, and by gosh, that looked pretty sharp. Somebody painted over these. These were actually black paint all the way up, and they were just painted over. And I couldn't get it. So I tried painting it, sanding it, painting it, and sanding it, and these are getting just way too worn. I don't know what I'm going to do. This was already like this. This here, I had one of the, what is this? The CW oscillator switch. The knob was actually kind of rusted on, and I had to go medieval on it to get it off, and it was very brutal. I had to Dremel it off. Now, the paint on the cabinet is supposed to have it's called a crinkle paint, and I did pretty good on the top. This I'll just brush some black paint on, and the back came out very good in my opinion. But then I just started encountering problem after problem where it wasn't wrinkling enough, and I can't get the lighting on this. Let's see here. The front came out okay, but not to my liking. I would like a lot better. So I really have decided to put off any more painting till the springtime or the dead of summer. The problems that I was having was it was too cold. When I first dug into the radio, there was gray paint all throughout the chassis, but I noticed that there were two colors of gray paint. And I came to the conclusion that the original color is this bluish gray, and I'm wondering if it had if this radio had been on some sort of ship, because it became rusted or some sort, and then they brushed on this other gray paint. So I'm just curious about the origin of this set. Somebody said that it's typical of them to do that. You can actually see some of the brush marks on the paint. I stripped down the IF transformers, one of them, and I was very excited because I saw the copper plating, and I thought, wow, it'd be really neat to look down, see copper shiny, copper shiny. However, I'm just not that gifted, and I kind of don't like the oxidation here. So there's a lot of just stuff that, no, these things are going to get repainted. I'm not going to leave it at that. What I really like about this National is the tuning capacitor. To me, I think it's just an amazing work of art. You don't see stuff like this nowadays, ever. I ended up taking this apart a little bit and putting new grease inside there. One thing that is still a mystery to me is what type of National this is. There was no dog tags on the back, only the dog tags on the front. Well, I started looking I had the schematics for an NC-100A, and then I noticed that that was a 10 tube receiver. And so I started counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I discounted this, and I looked at my tube box, and there was a tube that, well, basically I came to the conclusion that it was a NC-100 XAB. But what was mystifying was the tube lineup. All the tubes kind of lined up, except for this bad boy, a 5Z3. And in the XAB, the 100A, they list a tube that's called an 80. I don't know what that is. I'll have to do a little research. So this has been really... So I figured out that... Well, let me do it this way. As I started taking this National apart, I took notes of everything, where everything was. Well, according to my notes here, that 5Z3 was right next to the transformer, and that my set indeed has 10 tubes: 6J7, 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 6K7, 6C8, 6K7, the VT99, that's the 6FG, and there's a 6K7, and this is a 6V6, which is not on the list for the National 100, so now I'm going to have to cross-reference those tubes and see if they match up. And then this 5Z3, I believe it's a rectifier tube, I'm going to see if that matches up with the 80. But as of right now, this set is still a little bit of a mystery. Another part of the mystery is this. This set has 4 electrolytic canister capacitors, which I'm going to restuff, but they're 600 volt 4 ultrafarads. And I look on the schematic for the NC-100 and they're just not listed. So I'm really confused about that one. And I shined them up a little bit. One of the caps started leaking oil, and that is definitely driving me bonkers. This is okay, so I believe it was that first one I had. Let's pull this out. It was then that, because my intent was, just throw them back in or test them, see how they do. And then it started leaking oil, and then I realized, no, that's not an option. When I fire these ones up, they'll probably leak oil too. So these are going to get restuffed. Restuffing is you take the capacitor out and you put new electrolytics inside. I'll probably either cut it right here. I don't think I'm going to try and bend that out. That looks like it would gaff up way too much. So probably just a little Dremel tool to cut that off. Oh, while we're at it, this is the faceplate, and the wrinkle paint came out. Yeah, whatever. I wish there was more orange peeling. I'm probably just gonna sand this whole thing back down and go again in the springtime. I think I told you that I made notes of everything when I started taking this apart. And here's a few more notes. But then, as I started taking stuff out, I kind of drew arrows and different things to figure out exactly where these things were. I do have some pictures. The air capacitor. So I did take some pictures. And some more notes. And the notes go on and on, really. See, I was afraid that I wouldn't know where this stuff goes. And it's a high possibility that I will never get this thing back together. I took off quite a few of the parts so that I could get under and replace the cabs. I'm hoping everything goes smooth. Alright, keep a lot of the parts in here, as many that will fit. And this is the one that I had a lot of trouble with, and you can see the armature is still there. I actually broke this, and this is going to be a problem because this was supposed to stop right about there, turn right here and stop. But when I went medieval on it, I busted something, so I have to figure that out. Also, I shined one up, and I'm happy with how these shine up. And what I did, just took it to put it on a buffer. And one thing that I would let it get a little bit hot, and then I would stop and just took my time, buff, buff, buff. Let's see, I keep all the parts in bags, and they're labeled. All the screws are there. So this is for the antenna in the back. It's kind of sharp looking. I like that. Here's some of the pots. Volume control. Or these might be volume, I'm not sure. Also, these bags are full of oil because of the capacitor leaking, so clean on the inside but kind of nasty on the out. Very nice. I like this little knob here. It's a pull. And let's see here. The good old S meter. So I like these. The transformer is very heavy. I'm not going to mess with that. And I just keep it in the box. Here are the original knobs. I've not done anything with them. So I think we've all seen the National knobs. They look like giant bricks. And the this is either, one is for the tuning and one is for changing the bands. The changing of the band, actually let me go get that and show. Okay, this is a heavy item and I keep it kind of in deep storage. This is the, under here are the coils, and it's used to change the bands. Each one of these is a band, and there's 5, and it slides across and it clips onto different parts underneath the radio, and it just makes contact. So you have to actually push it out of a kind of these spring connectors and jam it into another spring, the same spring connector. So this disengages here and engages. A very heavy item. I keep it in deep storage for sure. So I don't want to mess with this too much. Okay, this is the underside of the chassis for the National. I'm not sure what type it is so far, but you can see all the paper electrolytics, and those will all be changed. I've pretty much decided to do the shotgun effect on the resistors too. I may pull them out and test them. I'm just, I have a big fear that if I don't change them and I add the new electrolytics and this thing performs better and puts more stress on the old resistors, that they won't perform and that they'll fall out of their resistance values. But I did find something on the internet about making a mold and stuffing the resistors and the new resistors inside the mold, and so you have new resistors that look like dog bones. And I'm not sure I'm going to do that, but I think I'm going to do that. Oh, I will be stuffing these paper electrolytics. I did one right here, and I got the Anderson TV has a little video on how to do it. You just put a capacitor inside there. Well, first you melt the wax off, and you take your new capacitor, wrap it with some tape so that it fits snug, and then you just pour in a little bit of hot glue, and you're basically done. So I tried one yesterday, and I really like the labels. The labels on these things are very sharp. When the wax melts off, the sprag just kind of jumps out at you. Okay, that is where I'm at with the National now. As I restore it and whatnot, I'm going to go ahead and take some videos and post them periodically. My next step is to change those capacitors and restuff them. Thanks for watching.